let's agree right away on one very important point, that the gods are not humans. By personifying the gods, giving them a human image, we belittle the force that exceeds humans many times over, especially when it comes to the powers of the demiurges who created the reality in which we live. The gods are the intelligences of universal scale, informational programs with codes and functions. They have neither hands nor feet nor physical bodies, although their minds, or rather some informational part of it, can enter the physical body of a person if necessary. We must remember this. Speaking of Greek gods, it's impossible not to mention the principles of Greek myth itself. Myth is not fiction. It's not a collection of ancient people's inventions. Myth is a description of the construction of reality passed down to humans from supraminds. We live in the space of myth, and understanding of today's reality is encoded in these myths. Surprisingly, the Greeks themselves, having such an extensive mythical database, distorted this perception, reducing myth to mere fiction, to fairy tales. They opposed myth to logos, and later to history. You can delve deeper into this topic in Mircea Eliade's book, The Myth of the Eternal Return. So myth is an instruction manual for applying today's and even future reality. It's worth treating it with all due respect and reverence. So Greek mythology is abundant, a multitude of gods, intertwined family lines, captivating plot lines, love stories, hatred and betrayal, vengeance, heroic battles. In one human life, you can't grasp everything that Greek mythology has left us. In the tangled relationships of the gods, one can get lost and not find a way out. Greek mythology is close to people because its plots resemble human life. Sometimes it seems that life situations are copied straight from one or another Greek myth and transferred into ordinary human life. Love, jealousy, intrigues, feats, trials, everything is very lifelike, and there's a reason for that. Greek gods seemed to be inseparably present in the human world. They were not something distant, unreachable. They lived side by side with humans, falling in love with them. You can ask Apollo about the multitude of his human passions. Competing with humans, Arachne will tell you about that. The gods organized the lives of humans, keeping an eye on them, laying down the necessary algorithms so that life as a system would become complete. And initially, the space for life itself had to be formed, which was created by Gaia. Gaia is the program laboratory that wrote the original codes of the creation of our current reality. It laid the foundation for everything we are accustomed to and consider ordinary, as it simply cannot be any other way. This is how it should be on planet Earth. The rules of physics, chemistry, biology, the alternation of day and night, the rules of interaction between Earth and space, the rules of the relationship between gods and humans, all of this was established by Gaia, and in all of this, we humans live. As Hesiod writes in his work Theogony, in the beginning there was only chaos, the abyss, but then Gaia, the earth, came into being, her broad bosom, the ever-firm foundation of all. Chaos was the first, like an abyss of uncertainties, formlessness that gave rise to everything else. The abyss is limitless. From it anything can be created. And next came Gaia, broad-breasted, where the breast symbolizes the female generative principle, nurturing new worlds. The capacity of her nurturing is boundless, as indicated by her broad bosom size. It is important to note here that Gaia appeared not from chaos, but alongside it. Chaos has no control over Gaia. It became an unfolding opportunity for the birth of Gaia. She is the same abyss, but an abyss of potentials, of what will eventually come to light and take shape. Simultaneously with Gaia, 4 other primordial principles appeared: Tartarus, Nyx, Erebus, Eros. They became the primary foundation, the border on which the system of Greek mythology began to grow. This is a team of original titans from which all subsequent gods originated, and Gaia begins to create the elements of reality construction in her laboratory. We will refer to Hesiod and his Theogony again. Earth's first child was Uranus, starry heaven, just her size, a perfect fit on all sides, and a firm foundation for the blessed gods. And she bore the mountains in long ranges, haunted by the nymphs who live in the deep mountain dells. Then she gave birth to the barren, raging sea without any second love. But later she slept with Uranus and bore ocean with its deep currents, and also Koios, Krios, Hyperion, Iapetos, Theia, Rhea, Themis, Mnemosyne, gold-crowned Phoebe, and lovely Tethys. After them she bore a most terrible child, Kronos, her youngest, an arch deceiver, and this boy hated his lecherous father. Gaia produced 3 primordial causes from herself, Uranus, nymphs, and Pontus. These are elemental forces. There is also another force created by Gaia for herself personally, for the protection of her office, so to speak. The serpent-like python, Erecthonius, who guarded Gaia's oracle, located in Delphi on Crete. This energetic point on Earth served as the entrance to Gaia's space. Later, this place would become the Delphic oracle of Apollo. Python, a truly terrifying serpent, does not allow anyone to enter the laboratory. Gaia herself decides which programs to create and release. Gaia does not work on requests from workers, which later greatly hinders Zeus, and his son Apollo will kill Python, thereby revealing the entrance to Gaia's chambers for Zeus and making this place Apollo's oracle. Gaia is greatly angered by this act of her grandson and will bestow upon him a curse, the curse of the earth itself. Let's read in Nikolay Khun's book Myths and Legends from Ancient Greece about this incident. Loudly resounded the triumphant victorious song paean of golden-haired Apollo, the vanquisher of Python, and the golden strings of the god's lyre echoed it. Apollo buried the body of Python in the earth there, where the sacred Delphi stands, and established a sanctuary and oracle in Delphi to proclaim the will of his father Zeus to humanity. And we return to Gaia's other creations, Uranus, whom Gaia wanted to see as that primal creative force, with which, when united, necessary programs for the formation of reality would occur. Uranus is the inner fire of the earth, Pontus, the element of water, and Nymph's element of air. All 4 elements present in this world were born of Gaia. Our earth is woven from them, and everything is a combination of these elements. Gaia laid down the principle that such elements are necessary. After all, there are other realities and spaces created from a different elemental cocktail. In the womb of Gaia, potentially everything exists, but she needs to unite with a force that will allow these potentials to be born. And by uniting with Uranus, she gives birth to subsequent elemental forces of formation. Uranus is often referred to as Gaia's husband, but in reality, he is her son, yet equal in breadth with Gaia. A small digression that in the realm of Greek mythology, the phenomenon of family hierarchy indicates the rights and powers of this or that god. The grandmother always comes first. She has more rights than her grandchildren. That is, the primary force will always be stronger than the forces that follow. But sometimes gods lost their positions due to certain circumstances. For example, this happened with Aphrodite. Initially, being Zeus's grandmother, as Hesiod writes, and so soon as he had cut off the members with flint and cast them from the land into the surging sea, they were swept away over the main a long time, and a white foam spread around them from the immortal flesh, and in it there grew a maiden. First she drew near holy Cythera, and from there afterwards she came to sea-girt Cyprus, and came forth an awful and lovely goddess, and grass grew up about her beneath her shapely feet. Her gods and men call Aphrodite, and the foam-born goddess and rich-crowned Cytherea, because she grew amid the foam, and Cytherea because she reached Cythera, and Cyprogenes because she was born in billowy Cyprus, and Philommedes because she sprang from the members. She becomes his daughter in Homer's Iliad, losing her rights within the framework of the system established by Zeus. Why this happened is a topic for a separate video. Write in the comments if you would be interested in such a video. Therefore, Gaia Earth herself established such a rule that the sky would be equal to the earth, not more, not less, but exactly equal to her. And this is worth remembering because subsequent fighters for the position of head of the pantheon tried in every way to diminish the rights of the goddesses of the earth, Gaia and Rhea, by uniting with Uranus fire in order to manifest all those potentials that were conceived within Gaia's laboratory. Together they create ocean, the water element, a part of chaos that is ready for creation, Koya, the personification of the earth's axis. Together with his wife and sister Phoebe, also born of Gaia and Uranus, the goddess of predictions associated with the moon, stabilization sensors to keep the system in balance, and all the other children of Gaia and Uranus, in one way or another, work to create balance and integrity of the system, embodying various functions. It must be said that when Zeus took over the management of the system, most of the firstborn were cast down into Tartarus during the Titanomachy, the lower, dark limit of the system, diminishing their rights and functions. They are as if on the periphery of the system, but do not manifest themselves. We will not dwell on each of the children in this video. Let's just focus on Cronus, the terrible and cunning, the destroyer of his own father Uranus, at the advice of his mother Gaia. Why did this happen? Gaia keeps giving birth to new programs. That's the Earth's nature she produces. However, Uranus doesn't allow these programs to come to light. He prevents the Earth from giving birth, insisting that each program matures to perfection. It's worth mentioning that he passed on this trait to his son Cronus, who also swallowed his children to let them mature, which greatly angered his wife, Hera. Gaia is burdened by her condition. She can no longer hold all her children within herself. It's time to bring them into the world. It was Gaia who laid down the principle that all secrets will be revealed. Everything must manifest, eventually. After Cronus castrated his father, Uranus, the programs that were hidden inside Gaia come to light, and a series of reality's trial versions begin. These trials manifested in the battles between the primordial and the young, the Titanomachy and the Gigantomachy, as well as the culmination of Greek mythology and the Trojan War. Gaia is always present in the space of myth and life, providing a place for everything to manifest, to be born when it needs to be. She is the foundation of this reality, the primal force that created our world as we know it. And so we come to the end of our story about Gaia. Thank you for watching, and I hope you've discovered something new and intriguing about this primordial goddess. Stay tuned for our next videos.